for the next few minutes. Now, simply put, my routine consists of a large collection of puns and one-liners. Now, not everyone's on board with a one-liner, so to help break the evening up, and every now and then, if a joke doesn't go so well, I'm going to read an entry from this book of German vocabulary. Because, as we all know, German vocabulary and puns are just two sides of the same coin. For example, Staubsauger, vacuum cleaner. Okay. Tell you a bit more about myself. I first did comedy on a whim. Sorry, on a stage. I always get them confused. I'm also in a magic society with 40 odd people? Sorry, 40 odd people. What else can I tell you about myself? I don't like being near microphone stands. I'm glad I got that out of the way. I'm actually going to have to put the microphone back in the stand, but I do like doing that joke. I like to think what it would be like if various singer-songwriters had been a bit less creative, a bit more lazy when writing the songs we know and love so well today. So, for example, Guns N' Roses, something like "Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and not everything has to rhyme." Or how about Kenny Loggins? How different would Top Gun be if it was more sort of "Highway to the comfort zone"? Or last but not least, how about Carly Simon? Something like "You're so vague. This song may or may not be about you. You're so vague. You don't know if this song is about you. Do you? Do you?" Thought no. Verschlimmbessern. The act of making something worse while trying to make it better. I've got a word for everything. So I got a step ladder, because my real ladder left me when I was just a child. Spent this afternoon watching episodes of Steptoe and Son, because my real episodes of Toe and Son left me when I was just a child. It's good advice to take everything in life with a pinch of salt, unless you're a slug. My dad used to say, it's best to just bite the bullet. He swiftly received a dishonourable discharge from the army. Can 10-pin bowling teams go on strike, or do they just split and then go spare before they end up in a gutter, down an alley? Pin. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those were the days. I like thinking about what I'm going to be like when I'm older, and part of me imagines that I'm going to confuse, annoy or irritate any future friends and family by coming across as a very sinister, albeit very well-meaning old man. So something like, yes, I remember my mother having terrible trouble looking after herself. She could barely cope, so one day when no one was around, I stepped in and took care of her, yes. I moved her to a nice nursing home with round-the-clock care. Well, there was the time that my colleague in the same line of work as me just wasn't quite meeting his target, so I had to get him out of the business, as it were. He feeds fish now. He got a job at London Aquarium. He couldn't be happier. Well, there was the time that I was walking home late one night and was accosted by a young hoodlum. Had my phone stolen. Needless to say, I tracked down this perpetrator and, well, he hasn't hurt anyone ever again. Yes. I encased his feet in concrete and threw him in a canal. Can't win them all. It's what have we here? Brustwarze. Nipple. Literally translates as breast wart, but I love those Germans. Now it goes without saying. Reincarnations, they're to die for. Campanology, that rings a bell. Not everyone clued up on campanology? That's all right. Campanology is the study or science of bells, or to a lesser extent, bell ringing. But that wouldn't quite work as a joke. Bell ringing, that rings a bell. I think if push came to shove... I'm not even going to finish that joke. As a child, I had my work cut out for me, because no one trusted me with scissors. I remember the time I held a vinyl copy of that James Brown song, World, for longer than anyone else. So I was the world record holder. I then went on to destroy more copies of that Alanis Morissette song Break than anyone else had done previously, so I was the last person to break the Break and Break record. I spent a lot of time listening to Steppenwolf, because my real wolf left me when I was just a child. I'm just hanging around for a second in case you get that joke again about 50 seconds after I've told it. Did you hear the one about the lengthy combustion reaction? Slow burner. There are some jokes you don't even need to finish. The audience have already seen the end coming. That wasn't one of them. I remember the time I was caught hiding LSD and MDMA, thrown out the Scrabble Society. Ladies and gentlemen, if you only take one thing away from tonight, or rather, if you only remember one thing out of everything that's happened tonight, you should really go and see a doctor because you definitely need to improve your memory. I did a joke about jumping on the bandwagon, but then everyone started doing it. Yeah, they started jumping on my jumping on the bandwagon. And now what you're doing is jumping on my jumping on the bandwagon. That was originally part of a 2.5-minute routine that culminated in the following punchline. Then they all started jumping on the jumping, the shark on the jumping, on the jumping, the gun on the jumping, on the jumping, on the jumping, on the bandwagon. I spent about half an hour trying to write that and not get lost in the many layers of bandwagons. And because of that, I now know that I hate bandwagons. And because of that, so do all of you. Welcome to the bandwagon. Okay, I'll be leaving you shortly. Before I go, you've been very nice. Before I go, I've got one final thing to deliver. Everyone loves the German words. Okay. Oh yes. This is a German word used to describe a coward, the kind of person who's only safe when criticising or throwing insults from a safe distance. The Germans use this word to describe the very lowest of the low. The word is Handschuh-Schneeballwerfer, and literally translates as glove-wearing snowball thrower. Because in Germany, it's not a proper snowball fight unless someone comes away with frostbite. Thank you very much.